common.
Oh, man.
All right.
Your next comic coming to the stage is an absolutely accomplished writer. Just, again, one of my favorite minds. It's been such a great pleasure to have her in the class for all these weeks. Please give it up for Gail Forrest.
All right, who is Luke's girlfriend?
Hi.
I just want you to know you are a model to me. I mean, I have never been a good girlfriend. So it's so nice to meet one or hear about one. Congratulations. Well, it sounds like you're pretty fab. Dad! He's not here right now because he's dead. But there were two things to know about my dad. One, he was cheap. Okay, how cheap? How cheap? He was so cheap that he would not go through a toll booth. Not when he knew there were roads that were free. And he was also so cheap that he was kicked out of Breedeman Lexus dealership in Glenview. Who has ever been kicked out of a Lexus dealership, or any car, used or otherwise? Nobody. They can't wait to get you in. And once you're in, they never let you out. It's like prison. You walk into a car dealership, it's like fucking prison, isn't it? Until you buy a car. Well, he was so crazed in terms of getting them cheaper and cheaper and cheaper that they were like, oh my God, Dr. Forrest is on the phone again. I mean, they just could not wait to get rid of him. And I think that one time that he chewed them down so much, like this terrier on their leg, that I think they gave him the car. But then he changed his mind. And he called up and he went, no, I've changed my mind. I don't care how cheap it is. And they went, please never come back here. Two, porn. So once my dad is off the road, I would visit him. He's like 87 now, okay? Retired. He's home watching TV all day. So I decided to visit him. I visited him once in a while. I did visit him a lot, actually. And I go in there, and I figured it's the middle of the afternoon, okay? He's 87. And I figured he's watching Bonanza. Has anyone ever heard of Bonanza? Hoss, Little Joe, Stagecoaches, also, sorts of things. He loved them. He watched them every day. And he also watched Hallmark movies, which was surprising, but given what he did at the car dealerships. But he would sit there, and the Hallmark dealers, the movies would be sad, and he'd be crying, tears were streaming down his face. So I figured I'm in for one of the two, Little Joe or a Hallmark movie. So I walk in innocently, and I'm just not thinking anything. And there he has a huge flat screen TV in front of him, and he's sitting back to me in his leather chair. And I walk in, and I'm not thinking, I'm just gonna watch TV with him, right? So there on the TV screen is a blowjob. Seriously, I think I had a mini stroke. There is a blowjob on the screen, and I'm like, that can't be right. My dad, 87, who watches porn? I guess men never stop watching porn, do they? It's probably until their deathbed. But, so I just decide that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not a blowjob. Maybe it's something else and my vision is gone. So I walk up to the screen and I get as close as I can, and I'm like, this is as close as I've been to a blowjob in years. Well, I won't say how many years. Because that would just be sad for me, or maybe not. Maybe I'm lucky. But I go up there, and now I remember I'm in the blowjob zone. That's what I call it. Because it's a special place. Right, women? It is. No one really wants to talk about them. But my hair, the minute I'm down there, it's humid. my hair is like becoming, I spent $250 on my hair, and my hair is getting like a Brillo pad. Right away, it starts to frizz. And you know, that makes me very unhappy. And two, I have this necklace on, and what if it gets tangled down there in the morass? And you guys don't think about that, do you? Have you ever thought about it? No, what it's like for a woman down there? I'm gonna make them all sad, I'm sorry. Anyway, so I'm thinking if my necklace gets caught in there, I'm down there a lot longer than I anticipated. And it's boring. It's honestly, again, sorry to say this to any of the men in the room, it's boring. And I don't know if any of you women would agree with me. I'm Jewish, so I'm probably alone in this, because Jewish women, we have this thing, like we like to do our nails and all sorts of other things, and you can't multitask down there. It's just, they don't, like, what if I want to make want to have a text message? Well, anyway. You can't get up and look at your text messages. So anyway, and they, you know, it's why they call it a job. It is a job. Whether or not it pays well, that's how smart any of you women are. So I like back up and like, okay, I've had enough. I have to get out of the blowjob zone. So I start slowly backing up. My dad is madly trying to turn off the clicker, and I think he dropped one. It's still on the screen, and I'm like, I've had a lot of therapy in my life. A lot, as I guess you probably can imagine. But I never, like my therapist never discussed with me what to do if you find your dad watching porn when you're halfway through your life and he's at the end. I mean, there's no like, I don't know how to digest that. So I'm just thinking that Freud was a misogynist because he stopped at the Oedipus complex. He never thought about what women like or not like. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? I've got to get out of here. So I turn and I'm like, I have to share this with someone. And I decide to call my sister because she is younger than me and I have a lot less years to live joyfully. And I have now got to ruin her life. So I call her, and she answers, and she goes, Gail, I can't talk. I went, you have to talk. She goes, no, I'll call you later, and she hangs up. So now I have all this inside of me, and I don't know what to do with it. I go and get in my car, and I figured I have two choices. One, I can go to the ER and just demand and put on a Valium drip. Some nice nurse to, understand my pain and put me on a Valium drip. Or two, I can just go do what I do every afternoon to the 7-Eleven, just continue on my day like it's a normal day for me. So I go to my 7-Eleven, where I go every single day. I know the guy behind the counter, Ramon, like he's my hermano, my best friend, my bro. And I go in there and I grab my Diet Coke, which I get every day. He knows me. I mean, I had him over for Thanksgiving dinner. And I go up to him and I go, oh, I have to talk to you. And I must look like a deer in headlights. And he looks at me and he goes, no entiendo inglés. I'm like, you entiendo inglés todos los días. And I want to tell him the whole story. But I must look like I'm totally freaked out. And he goes, no, señora, no entiende inglés. And he's useless to me now. And I still have this story in me. And I go outside and they're tied up to a bike rack or something as a golden retriever. Has anyone in here ever had a golden retriever? Or a dog? These golden retrievers, the way they look at you, it's like love. They're big doe-eyed and lovely and silky and beautiful. And they are like your best friend, even if they've never met you. So I'm like, you know what? I can tell the dog. So I decided to tell the dog the story, and I pour out everything to him. And he's looking at me, and I think he's feeling my pain. And then I get up, and he's humping my leg. So then I knew he understood every word I said. Thank you.
Air Force, everybody give it up for her one more time. We are down to your last comment. Such an incredible writer. Give it up for